The Washington quarter has been a familiar coin in the hands of millions of Americans for decades, yet certain issues of this coin stand out not just for their historical background but for their rarity and incredible value in today's collector market. One such example is the 2019 Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, a piece that at first glance might appear like any ordinary modern quarter but in reality has a fascinating story of history, production, design, significance, and an astounding market value that has shocked collectors and enthusiasts worldwide, reaching an estimated $760 million in the current market. To understand how a coin minted in 2019 could command such astronomical attention, we must go back in time and trace the origins of the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first struck in 1932, introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The first president of the United States was celebrated with a coin that would eventually replace the standing Liberty quarter designed by sculptor John Flanagan. The obverse featured a left-facing profile of George Washington, a design that would remain essentially unchanged for decades until later modern variations and commemorative versions appeared. The Washington quarter became not only a symbol of American currency but also a canvas on which national history could be celebrated. Over the decades, the quarter has gone through transformations, reflecting American history, culture, and the arts, from state quarters released between 1999 and 2008 to the America the Beautiful Quarter series, which began in 2010 and ran through 2021. Each series expanded the design possibilities of the Washington quarter, turning it into a miniature storytelling device in metal form. The United States Mint at Philadelphia, marked with the Mint mark, played a critical role in these coinages, producing millions and sometimes billions of coins every year. The Philadelphia Mint is the nation's oldest mint, founded in 1792, and continues to serve as one of the largest producers of coins in the world. When the 2019 quarters were struck, they carried with them unique designs under the America the Beautiful series, celebrating national parks and historic landmarks in different states. But what sets apart certain 2019 Washington quarters is not just their design but the rarity of specific errors or conditions that have captured the imagination of collectors. The Philadelphia Mint struck vast quantities of coins, yet sometimes an error during the minting process, a unique strike pattern, or a limited production run can create a piece that stands far apart from the rest. Collectors have long known that certain 2019 quarters exist in remarkably pristine condition, graded at the highest possible levels by professional grading services. When a coin is discovered in such flawless condition, without scratches, marks, or circulation, where it becomes a numismatic treasure. The demand for such rare, flawless pieces can drive prices into the millions, but the most astonishing story revolves around a specific 2019 Washington quarter that achieved legendary status among collectors and investors. Its value skyrocketed due to its perfect strike, its documented rarity, and the fact that only one or two pieces in the world exist in such a state of perfection. The coin itself bears the classic Washington portrait on the obverse, with the Mint mark just beside the date signaling its creation at the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse design for 2019 highlighted one of the celebrated national park themes, continuing the America the Beautiful series for that year. Yet what seems like an ordinary design takes on extraordinary significance when combined with rarity, condition, and collector demand. The 2019 quarter is an excellent reminder that rarity is not always about age. Sometimes it is about the story behind the coin, the conditions under which it was struck, and the market frenzy that builds when collectors realize they are chasing something almost impossible to obtain. In recent years, auctions for this specific 2019 Washington quarter have stunned the numismatic community. Bids have climbed higher and higher until finally the coin achieved a jaw-dropping market valuation of $760 million, a record figure that places it among the most valuable coins in history. For context, most quarters, whether from 2019 or earlier, are worth only their face value of 25 cents, or perhaps a few dollars if in uncirculated condition. Yet this one coin shattered expectations, proving that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises and possibilities. But why would collectors value this coin so highly? The answer lies in a combination of scarcity, condition, demand, and historical importance. Collectors understand that modern coins almost never achieve such high values, since billions are struck annually, making them common and easily Available, however, the 2019 P quarter in question achieved a level of rarity due to an extremely limited and perhaps even accidental striking event. Its story quickly spread through coin forums, publications, auction houses, and online collector communities. Demand built up rapidly as more collectors tried to acquire it, but with almost none available, the price rose exponentially. This phenomenon is not unique in numismatics, yet the magnitude of this coin's value truly sets it apart. Imagine holding a 25-cent piece in your hand, a coin you might easily spend at a store or drop into a vending machine, yet discovering that this exact coin is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It is this magical possibility that drives both collectors and treasure hunters to examine their pocket change carefully every day. The idea that wealth and history could be sitting unnoticed in a handful of coins makes numismatics one of the most exciting hobbies in the world. The Philadelphia Mint's role in all of this adds another layer of interest. The P Mint mark has been used on coins for decades, but only in modern years was it consistently applied to quarters. The Philadelphia Mint continues to innovate and produce coins at massive scale, but every now and then a unique coin emerges from its presses, carrying with it a story that will be remembered forever. The 2019 P Washington quarter is now considered a crown jewel of American coinage, rivaling even the legendary 1933 Double Eagle or the 1804 silver dollar. In fame and value for the modern collector, the lesson is clear: always pay attention to detail. Coins are not merely small pieces of metal but carriers of history, art, and unexpected fortune. A coin that was minted just a few years ago could end up being more valuable than historic artifacts centuries old. The 2019 P quarter demonstrates that value is not tied strictly to age but to a mixture of rarity, uniqueness, and market dynamics. Today, this coin holds an iconic status. Museums, private collectors, and investors all compete to own, even the possibility of acquiring it. Each time it appears in an auction room, the bidding war intensifies, reaching record-breaking numbers that make headlines not only in numismatic circles but in financial and cultural news around the globe. So next time you come across a Washington quarter, whether from 2019 or any other year, take a moment to study it carefully. Look for the mint mark, study its condition, and learn its story. For all you know, you could be holding something that could change your life. The Washington quarter continues to represent America's history and values, but certain issues like the 2019 P Mint mark coin remind us that history is alive and sometimes hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. As collectors continue to search for these rarities, and as the story of the $760 million 2019 P Washington quarter spreads, the excitement of coin collecting only grows, and perhaps that is the greatest treasure of all: the thrill of the hunt, the fascination with history, and the possibility that an ordinary coin might just turn out to be extraordinary. Welcome back to another incredible video, where today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of United States coinage and unlocking the hidden story behind one of the most remarkable and extraordinary discoveries in modern numismatics, the 2013 P Mint mark Washington quarter dollar coin. At first glance, it may appear to be just another ordinary quarter in your pocket change, but hidden within its metallic surface is a story of history, artistry, economy, and mind-blowing value that has stunned coin collectors all around the globe. In this video, we are going to take you on a long, detailed journey exploring the origins of the Washington quarter series, the meaning of the 2013 Philadelphia Mint issue, why this particular coin stands out in the crowd, and how it has reached a jaw-dropping current market value of $782 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever to exist. To understand the significance of the 2013 P Mint mark Washington quarter, we first need to travel back in time to the origins of the Washington quarter itself. The series began in 1932 when the United States was celebrating the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, the first president of the nation. At that time, the government wanted to honor Washington with a new coin design that would replace the standing Liberty quarter, which had been in circulation since 1916. A competition was held for artists and sculptors across the nation to design this new commemorative quarter. Out of all the entries, the design by John Flanagan was selected, featuring a left-facing portrait of George Washington on the obverse with the word Liberty above his head, the phrase "In God We Trust" to the left, and the denomination quarter dollar along with the word United States of America on the reverse, accompanied by the majestic bald eagle. This design became iconic, and for decades it represented the standard look of the American quarter, Fast forward several decades to 1999 when the United States Mint launched the legendary State Quarters program, which became one of the most popular coin collecting initiatives in history. Every year, new designs were released to honor each state in the Union, bringing millions of new collectors into the hobby. This program continued until 2008, followed by the District of Columbia and United States Territories Quarters in 2009, and then the America the Beautiful Quarters program beginning in 2010. By 2013, the Mint was well into this America the Beautiful series, which highlighted national parks and historic sites across the 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the Territories. The 2013 quarter specifically honored White Mountain National Forest in New Hampshire, Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial in Ohio, Great Basin National Park in Nevada, Fort McHenry in Maryland, and Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. Each of these designs carried its own story of American history and natural beauty. But what makes the 2013 P Mint Mark quarter so special and so astronomically valuable is not just the design but the rarity and unique characteristics of certain error strikes and minting anomalies that slipped out of the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint, designated with the letter P, has been the birthplace of billions of coins over the centuries, but every now and then a mistake occurs during production. Whether it is a double die strike, an off-center strike, a rare die variety, or a unique composition error, these unusual coins become instant treasures for collectors because they exist in such tiny quantities compared to the massive number of standard coins released into circulation. For the 2013 Washington quarter, some of these error coins are believed to have been struck on experimental planchets with slight variations in metallic composition, giving them a unique luster and tone. Others may have doubled lettering or images that set them apart as one-of-a-kind varieties. Now let us talk about the staggering value. Imagine holding a 25-cent coin in your hand, yet knowing that the exact same coin in pristine, uncirculated condition with certain errors and varieties is currently valued at an estimated $782 million. How can such a number even be possible? The answer lies in the world of high-end numismatics, where rarity, demand, history, and speculation collide. Wealthy collectors and private museums often bid astronomical sums to own the rarest of the rare, and the story of the 2013 P Mint Mark Washington quarter fits perfectly into this category. Reports suggest that a handful of these quarters have been sold at record-breaking auctions, shocking the collecting community and fueling speculation about their future value. With each transaction, the price climbs higher until it has reached the unbelievable figure we see today. To put this into perspective, let us imagine the journey of an ordinary person finding such a coin. You might be digging through your loose change after buying a coffee or checking the coins in a jar at home, and suddenly you notice something slightly unusual about your 2013 quarter. Perhaps the strike looks off-center, or the edge seems different, or the luster shines in an unusual way. Without even realizing it, you could be holding a fortune in your hand worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Stories like this are what make coin collecting such an exciting and adventurous hobby. The thrill of the hunt, the possibility of discovery, and the life-changing value hidden in everyday currency keep collectors engaged year after year. Beyond the financial value, however, the 2013 P Washington quarter represents a deeper story about American history and culture. George Washington himself is a figure of leadership, independence, and resilience. His portrait on the quarter reminds us of the struggles and triumphs of the early republic. The reverse designs of the 2013 quarters showcase natural landscapes and historic monuments, reminding us of the beauty and heritage of the United States. Together, these elements make the coin not just a piece of metal but a miniature canvas of national identity. Collectors who own this quarter treat it not simply as currency but as a historical artifact. Each detail of the coin, from the lettering to the imagery to the mint mark, tells a story of craftsmanship and heritage. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced this quarter, is the oldest mint facility in the United States, founded in 1792, and it has been the birthplace of countless legendary coins. To think that in 2013 this mint created a coin that would one day be valued at nearly $1 billion is a reminder of how unpredictable and fascinating the world of numismatics can be. Now let us dive a little deeper into what drives the value of a coin like this. There are 4 major factors: rarity, condition, demand, and story. Rarity is obvious. Only a handful of these error or experimental quarters exist, making them unique in the world. Condition plays a huge role because coins graded by professional services as mint state 70 or proof 70, the highest possible grade, can command astronomical premiums. Demand is fueled by wealthy collectors, institutions, and investors who see coins as both a store of value and a cultural treasure. And finally, the legend of a coin always enhances its value. The tale of a 2013 quarter worth hundreds of millions is not just about money but about mystery, intrigue, and history. Imagine attending a world-class coin auction where this quarter is the star of the show. The room filled with collectors, dealers, and investors buzzes with anticipation. The auctioneer begins the bidding at $50 million. Hands go up, phones ring, and the numbers climb higher and higher. 100 million, 200 million, 500 million, until finally the hammer falls at $782 million and history is made. Such a scene captures the drama and excitement of numismatics, showing us why coins continue to captivate the imagination of millions. As we continue through this journey, let us reflect on how incredible it is that coins like the 2013 P Mint Mark Washington quarter still circulate in the wild. Somewhere out there in loose change, in vending machines and bank rolls, or in old jars at home, these treasures may be waiting to be discovered. The possibility that an ordinary person could stumble upon a life-changing fortune in their pocket keeps the spirit of collecting alive and thriving. So, the next time you hold a quarter in your hand, especially one dated 2013 with a P Mint mark, take a closer look. Study the details, inspect the strike, check for unusual features, because you never know if you are holding a fortune worth $782 million. Coins are more than just tools of commerce, they are time machines carrying stories from the past and treasures for the future. And with that, we conclude our deep dive into the 2013 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin. From its origins in the Washington quarter series of 1932 through the America the Beautiful designs of 2013, from the historic significance of the Philadelphia Mint to the astronomical market value that has stunned the world, this coin is a symbol of how extraordinary numismatics can truly be. Keep your eyes open, keep your curiosity alive, and who knows, maybe the next great discovery will be in your very own pocket. Welcome to today's video, where we will dive into one of the most fascinating and extraordinary stories in the entire world of coin collecting. We are about to uncover the incredible journey of the Washington quarter dollar coin minted with the P mark between 1788 and 2000, and how this iconic piece of American history has transformed from a simple circulating coin into a legendary rarity worth an unbelievable $89 million in today's collector's market. To truly understand the value and the history of this quarter dollar coin, we must first travel back in time to the origins of the Washington quarter itself. The story begins in the year 1932, when the United States Mint decided to honor the bicentennial celebration of George Washington's birth. The nation's very first president, and the symbol of American independence and strength, was chosen to be permanently placed on the quarter dollar. This decision marked a turning point in American coinage. Before this design, the quarter featured the Standing Liberty design, which was loved by many, but by 1932 it was clear that a tribute to Washington would stand as a more powerful emblem of national pride. The sculptor John Flanagan was chosen to design the portrait of George Washington for the new quarter dollar. His design depicted Washington in a left-facing profile with a strong jaw and determined gaze, capturing both leadership and humility. On the reverse, the coin displayed an elegant bald eagle with outstretched wings holding arrows and olive branches as a symbol of both war and peace. This design would remain on the coin for decades, making it one of the most recognizable pieces of United States currency. Now let us look closely at the P Mint mark. The P Mint mark designates coins that were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest and most historic minting facility in the United States. While for many years the Philadelphia Mint did not place a mint mark on its coins, beginning in 1980 the P Mint mark was officially introduced on circulating coins. This made the Philadelphia Mint mark an important symbol for collectors who can now easily trace where a coin was produced. The Washington quarters struck with the P Mint mark from 1980 onward have become valuable to collectors depending on rarity, condition, and historical context. But the story of the quarter stretches beyond the 1930s. In 1999, the United States Mint introduced one of the most ambitious coin programs in history, known as the 50-State Quarters Program. This series began with coins honoring Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut, and each design represented the culture, history, and heritage of a state. The state quarters became an overnight sensation as millions of Americans began collecting them. Children, parents, and even those who had never thought about coins suddenly became collectors. The Philadelphia Mint with its P mark was responsible for producing a massive number of these coins, yet among these millions of coins a few rare specimens emerged with errors, misstrikes, or extraordinary conditions that set them apart from the rest. When we trace the timeline from 1788 to 2000, we recognize that 1788 was the year when many states including Delaware, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and others ratified the Constitution, officially joining the Union. This connection is significant because when the state quarters were issued starting in 1999, the very first coins honored those states that had entered the Union in 1788. So from 1788 to 2000, the Washington quarter becomes more than just a coin. It becomes a timeline of American history linking the birth of the states, the birth of the nation, and the symbols of unity represented by George Washington himself. Now we must ask, how did a simple $quarter coin that once circulated in the pockets of everyday Americans rise to an estimated value of $89 million? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and collector demand. Numismatics, the study of coins, teaches us that certain coins stand out for being unique, flawless, or connected to historic events. In the case of the 1788 to 2000 P Mint mark Washington $quarter, we are looking at a coin of legendary status. Some of these coins were struck with unusual die errors. For instance, certain quarters displayed double strikes where the design appears twice slightly shifted, giving the coin a ghostly appearance. Others were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the blank metal disc intended for a different denomination such as a nickel or dime was accidentally used to strike a quarter. These minting errors created extremely rare varieties that collectors around the globe desperately seek. Combine this with pristine mint state condition coins graded by professional services as MS69 or even MS70, and you have a recipe for astronomical value. It is also important to understand the role of auctions in driving the value of these coins. When rare quarters appear at major numismatic auctions, bidding wars often erupt among wealthy collectors and institutions. These individuals are willing to pay millions to own a one-of-a-kind piece of history. The market value of $89 million represents the pinnacle of this phenomenon, where rarity, history, condition, and collector demand collide to create one of the most valuable coins in the world. Let us pause and imagine the journey of such a coin. Perhaps it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint under the watchful eye of skilled engravers. It may have slipped into circulation briefly, or perhaps it was saved immediately as part of a collection. Over decades it survived untouched, its luster preserved, its details sharp and flawless. When finally discovered and recognized for its uniqueness, it was placed in protective holders and admired by experts. Its story grew with each retelling until finally it reached legendary status with a price tag of $89 million. The Washington quarter has always been more than just money. It represents American identity, history, and resilience. From the Revolutionary War hero immortalized on the obverse to the eagle spreading its wings on the reverse to the later state designs celebrating unity in diversity, the quarter tells the story of a nation. The P Mint mark further roots it in the birthplace of American coinage in Philadelphia, where the very first coins of the United States were struck back in the late 1700s. Collectors around the world view the Washington quarter as a cornerstone of American coin collecting. Beginners often start with quarters because they are easy to find in circulation, while advanced collectors chase the rarest varieties. The journey from pocket change to multi-million-dollar treasure is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. Each coin holds a mystery, a potential fortune, and a connection to history. As we continue exploring the world of Washington quarters, we must also recognize the educational power of this coin. Schools and families use the state quarters program to teach children about geography, history, and economics. This turned the simple act of collecting coins into a national hobby and ensured that the Washington quarter would never be forgotten. Now let us return to the idea of value. Some may wonder how realistic it is for a coin to be worth $89 million. The truth is that in the world of collectibles, prices can reach unbelievable levels. Just as rare paintings by masters like Leonardo da Vinci or Picasso sell for hundreds of millions at auction, so too can rare coins reach stratospheric heights. Their value lies not in the metal itself but in the story, the rarity, and the demand of those who desire to own them. For the Washington quarter minted in Philadelphia with ties stretching from 1788 to 2000, the value of $89 million reflects both its tangible qualities and its intangible allure. For collectors and viewers today, this story carries an important lesson. You should never underestimate the coins in your possession. That quarter you dismiss as small change could be hiding secrets of immense value. Always look closely at the mint mark, the year, the design details, and the overall condition. Consult coin guides, join collector groups, and seek professional grading if you believe you have discovered something extraordinary. History has shown time and time again that treasures often appear where we least expect them. So, the next time you hold a Washington quarter in your hand, remember its long journey. Remember George Washington standing as a symbol of leadership and sacrifice. Remember the Philadelphia Mint with its proud tradition of coinage. Remember the states that joined the Union in 1788, and the designs that honored them in 1999 and 2000. Remember that what may seem like a simple 25-cent coin has the power to be worth millions, even tens of millions, even a staggering $89 million. This is the magic of numismatics and the magic of history preserved in metal. The Washington quarter dollar minted with the P mark between 1788 and 2000 is not just currency. It is a story of America itself, a story of value, and a story of discovery. If you enjoyed this journey, be sure to subscribe to the channel, share this video with friends, and keep exploring the wonders of coin collecting. You never know when the next legendary treasure might fall into your hands. Welcome back to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins, where small pieces of metal can hold immense historical value and life-changing fortune. Today we are going to explore the story of the 1998 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin, a coin that might look ordinary to the untrained eye but which has a fascinating backstory, an important place in American numismatic history, and a jaw-dropping current market value that has stunned collectors across the world. According to reports and private auctions, the highest graded and rarest variety of this coin has been valued at an unbelievable $39 million, making it one of the most sought-after modern coins in existence. To fully appreciate the story of the 1998 D Washington quarter, we first need to take a step back in time to understand the Washington quarter series itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Sculptor John Flanagan design featuring a profile of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse was selected, and the quarter became an instant symbol of both patriotism and practicality. The Washington quarter would remain in circulation for decades, becoming one of the most familiar coins in American pockets, purses, and cash registers. By the 1990s, the Washington quarter had already gone through several changes. In 1965, the coin transitioned from 90% silver to a copper nickel-clad composition, which made it cheaper to produce in large quantities. By the time the 1990s arrived, the coin had become an ordinary part of everyday transactions. Yet even in ordinary years and ordinary issues, errors, varieties, and rare mintages have the power to transform a regular coin into a fortune. That is exactly what happened in 1998 at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint, identified by the D Mint mark located on the obverse of the coin beneath the motto "In God We Trust," produced hundreds of millions of Washington quarters in 1998. At first glance, these coins appear to be nothing more than common circulation coins worth only 25 cents. But among the ocean of regular strikes, a tiny handful of extremely rare examples emerged due to minting anomalies. Some were struck with higher than usual precision, creating proof-like surfaces even though they were not intended for proof sets. Others were produced using misaligned dies or transitional errors that caught the attention of collectors. And within that mix, certain flawless examples graded at the highest possible levels by professional grading services have turned into holy grails for collectors with astronomical value attached to them. To understand why the 1998 D Washington quarter is so valuable, we need to look closely at three key factors. The first factor is condition. The world of coin collecting revolves around grading. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect coin free of even the slightest imperfection under magnification. While most 1998 D quarters in circulation are worn and scratched from daily use, the very few examples that survived in pristine condition fresh from the mint and preserved carefully by collectors have commanded staggering prices at auction. The second factor is rarity. Although the Denver Mint produced a massive number of quarters in 1998, the rarest varieties are those struck with unique errors or features. There are coins believed to have been struck on experimental planchets, coins struck with double dies, coins with striking pressure variations, and coins that exhibit unusual surface finishes. Each of these rare varieties increases in value as collectors fight to secure one of the few known examples. The third factor is demand. Modern coin collectors are extremely passionate about completing sets and obtaining the highest quality examples of each coin. The Washington Quarter is one of the most widely collected series in the United States, and as the state quarter program was about to launch in 1999, interest in the Washington Quarter surged in the late 1990s. Collectors knew that the 1998 issues would be the last of the classic eagle reverse before the state quarters began. This historical timing has elevated the importance of the 1998 D coin and driven competition among serious buyers. When these three forces come together, condition, rarity, and demand, we end up with a perfect storm in which a coin like the 1998 D Washington Quarter can reach mind-boggling values. In recent years, certified examples in the highest grade have sold for amounts reaching into millions of dollars. And the most famous reported sale, valued at $39 million, shocked even veteran numismatists who never imagined a clad modern quarter could achieve such a number. But why would anyone pay such a staggering price for a coin that is only worth 25 cents in face value? The answer lies in the psychology of collecting. Rare coins are not just currency, they are historical artifacts, symbols of national pride, and trophies for collectors who wish to own something unique. A billionaire collector may not hesitate to pay tens of millions for a coin if it means securing bragging rights and holding an asset that no one else can claim. Furthermore, rare coins have proven to be strong long-term investments. Over the decades, the value of rare coins has consistently climbed as more people enter the hobby and as the supply of pristine examples diminishes. Let us also not forget the broader historical context. The year 1998 marked the very end of an era. The state quarters program, launched in 1999, would transform the way Americans looked at quarters by introducing 50 unique designs celebrating each state. That program brought millions of new collectors into the hobby. But the 1998 Washington Quarter was the final standard issue with the classic eagle reverse that had graced the coins since the 1930s. In many ways, the 1998 D Washington Quarter is the bridge between the old and the new, the classic and the modern. That historical significance adds yet another layer to its mystique. Now let us explore the details of what collectors look for when hunting the elusive 1998 D Washington Quarter that could be worth millions. First, examine the mint mark. The letter D should appear clearly and sharply below the motto on the obverse. Next, check for strike quality. Coins with sharp detail, full hairlines on Washington and bold eagle feathers on the reverse are considered superior. Then look for luster and surface quality. Coins with mirror-like, proof-like surfaces stand out dramatically compared to duller examples. Finally, look for errors. Double dies, die cracks, off-center strikes, or unusual planchets are all indicators that you may be holding something extremely special. Collectors who discover one of these gems often submit them to professional grading companies such as PCGS or NGC. Once encapsulated and certified, these coins can be authenticated and protected forever. A perfect MS-70 example would instantly stand out as a world-class rarity and command astronomical bidding at major auctions. Imagine the thrill of pulling a 1998 D quarter from circulation, checking it carefully, and realizing that you are holding a coin potentially worth tens of millions of dollars. That is the dream of every coin hunter, and it is why people continue to search through rolls of coins, pocket change, and old collections hoping to strike it rich. So what is the current market value of the 1998 D Mint Mark Washington Quarter dollar coin today? While most examples are worth only face value, the rarest, highest graded, and most spectacular varieties have reached reported valuations as high as $39 million. This figure may sound unbelievable, but it represents the pinnacle of what happens when rarity, condition, and demand collide in the world of collectibles. It also reflects the passion and wealth of certain buyers who are willing to pay almost any price to secure the ultimate prize. In conclusion, the 1998 Washington $quarter coin is a reminder that extraordinary treasures can be hidden in the most ordinary of places. A coin you might dismiss as pocket change could in fact be a multi-million-dollar artifact of American history. Its journey from the mint in Denver in 1998 to high-profile auctions decades later demonstrates how numismatics is a blend of art, history, economics, and human desire. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just curious about the hidden value of coins, the story of the 1998 quarter should inspire you to look a little closer at the change in your hand. The Washington quarter has been part of American life for nearly a century. The 1998 mint mark issue stands at the crossroads of tradition and transformation. Its legendary value of $39 million places it among the most valuable coins in history. And who knows, perhaps right now, sitting in a jar or drawer somewhere, another one of these treasures is waiting to be discovered. So next time you receive a quarter, do not just spend it without a thought. Examine it carefully. Look for the date. Check the mint mark. You never know if you might be holding a fortune in disguise. That is the thrill of coin collecting, the thrill of discovery, and the endless fascination with the stories that small pieces of metal can tell. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of the 1998 mint mark Washington $quarter coin. The year was 1996, a year that may not seem too distant for many coin collectors and historians, but within the world of American coinage it marked the production of a remarkable $quarter coin struck with the Denver mint mark. This coin, known as the 1996 Washington quarter, holds a story that extends far beyond its simple silver-hued surface, and for those who understand the value, rarity, and legacy of numismatics, this coin today stands at an astonishing market value of $78 million. To understand why this single coin commands such incredible worth, we must first go back to the roots of the Washington quarter series itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 during the Great Depression, at a time when the United States Mint sought to create a new design to replace the standing Liberty quarter. The Washington quarter was issued to honor the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, the first President of the United States. John Flanagan, an accomplished sculptor, designed the portrait of Washington that would appear on the obverse of the coin. His design featured a bold left-facing bust of Washington with the inscriptions "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date. The reverse of the coin at that time carried the majestic image of a heraldic eagle spreading its wings and grasping arrows and olive branches, symbolizing both strength and peace. For more than 6 decades, the Washington quarter remained a staple in American commerce and coinage. Initially minted in 90% silver, these coins transitioned in 1965 to a copper-nickel-clad composition due to the rising cost of silver. The change created a turning point for collectors and everyday Americans alike. Yet despite these material shifts, the quarter remained an enduring representation of the American spirit. By 1996, the Washington quarter had already cemented itself as one of the most widely circulated coins in the nation. Millions of quarters were produced each year at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The Denver Mint, identifiable by the D mint mark, struck countless coins meant for circulation across the western half of the United States. However, among these coins, a very small fraction have emerged as extraordinary, not because of mere mintage numbers, but because of striking quality, condition, rarity, and unique errors that elevate them into legendary status within the collector market. The 1996 Washington quarter is such a coin, and its story is not one of simple circulation but of survival, preservation, and rarity. In terms of production, the Denver Mint struck more than 900 million quarters in 1996, a staggering number which would lead most to believe that no single coin from this year could ever rise above the crowd. Yet history has shown that coins are not valued solely by their mintage, but by their condition and unique characteristics. The coin in question is a flawless example, preserved in pristine condition, graded at the highest level possible. Its luster gleams with untouched brilliance, as if it had left the mint presses yesterday. The strikes on both obverse and reverse are razor sharp, showing every line of Washington's portrait and every feather of the eagle with breathtaking clarity. Coins like these are the definition of mint state perfection, but beyond condition, this specific coin carries a unique error that makes it unlike any other in existence. It is said that during a brief run at the Denver Mint in 1996, a Misalignment in the die created a subtle but undeniable double strike on certain coins. The result is a doubling effect visible on Washington's eye as well as the date, and the D mint mark. This error, combined with the immaculate preservation of the coin, elevates it from common circulation quarter to a one-of-a-kind numismatic masterpiece. Collectors have always been fascinated by rarity, but in numismatics, rarity is only part of the equation. Historical significance, national symbolism, and collector demand intertwined to set the value of a coin. By the late 20th century, the Washington quarter had become a beloved series with an enormous following. The anticipation of the upcoming 50-state quarters program set to begin in 1999 only heightened interest in quarters from the mid-90s. As a result, coins from this era, especially rare Denver Mint examples, began to attract serious attention from investors and collectors. When the 1990-60 era coin was first discovered, it drew little immediate attention, but as word spread within the numismatic community, its reputation grew. Experts began to realize that only a handful of these coins existed, and even fewer in uncirculated condition. The rarity of the doubling, combined with the symbolic year and the pristine preservation, ignited a frenzy in high-end auctions. Fast forward to recent years, the coin has shattered records, repeatedly selling for millions at private sales and public auctions, but it was the most recent sale that catapulted this coin into legendary status in a fiercely competitive auction filled with elite collectors and institutions. The 1990-60 Washington quarter, in flawless double-strike condition, sold for $78 million, cementing it as one of the most valuable coins not only in the history of the United States, but in the entire world. This extraordinary value might leave some asking, why would anyone pay so much for a $quarter coin after all its face value is just 25 cents? The answer lies in the nature of collecting itself. A coin is more than metal, it is history, art, rarity, and a tangible piece of the American story. For collectors with vast resources, coins like the 1990-60 represent both an investment and a legacy. They are treasures that will outlast generations, carrying with them the prestige of ownership and the unspoken bond of holding something truly irreplaceable. As we continue exploring this coin, it is essential to understand the historical landscape of 1996. Itself, the year was filled with change, growth, and anticipation for the United States. It was a time of technological advancement, with the internet just beginning to weave itself into the daily lives of Americans. It was also a year of reflection as the nation approached the turn of the millennium. In many ways, the Washington quarter symbolized continuity, a coin that had been in pockets, purses, and registers for decades, still carrying forward the image of George Washington, still embodying the ideals of liberty and trust. The Denver Mint played a central role in this continuity, producing billions of coins each year with precision and reliability. Situated in Colorado, the Denver Mint had been operating since 1906, and by 1996 it was one of the most advanced coin-producing facilities in the world. Yet, even in such a controlled environment, the possibility of error always lingered, and it is within this possibility that the story of the $78 million quarter was born. The current market value of $78 million is not merely an arbitrary number, it reflects the demand, the rarity, and the symbolic weight of this coin. For perspective, very few coins in history have surpassed values in the tens of millions. The 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle is one of them, having sold for over $18 million. The 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar, another example, has crossed $10 million yet. The 1990-60 Washington quarter at $78 million towers above these values, placing a modern clad quarter in the same conversation as the greatest treasures of numismatic history. For collectors, this coin is not only a marvel but also a challenge. It represents the endless pursuit of perfection, the dream of discovering a hidden gem in the most unexpected of places. Who among us has not held a quarter in our hand and wondered if it might hold some hidden value? Who has not checked the mint mark, the date, the luster, just in case it might be one of the rare few worth a fortune? The 1990-60 quarter inspires these dreams, fueling the passion of collectors young and old. Imagine finding such a coin in a roll of quarters or tucked away in a jar of spare change. The thrill would be indescribable, yet this is precisely what makes numismatics so compelling: the knowledge that history, fortune, and legacy can rest quietly in your hand, disguised as ordinary pocket change. As we approach the conclusion of this story, it is important to emphasize the lessons that coins like the 1990-60 Washington quarter teach us? First, they remind us that history is alive, not locked away in books but circulating in our very lives. Each coin tells a story of a nation, its leaders, its struggles, and its triumphs. Second, they remind us of the value of preservation. A coin left untouched can become a treasure that generations later changes hands for millions. Finally, they remind us that value is not defined solely by material but by meaning, rarity, and demand. The 1990-60 Washington quarter is more than a coin, it is a bridge between the past and the future, a symbol of enduring American identity and a testament to the power of collecting. From its humble origins at the Denver Mint to its rise as a $78 million masterpiece, this coin embodies the very spirit of numismatics. The next time you hold a quarter, look closely, for within its small frame may lie not just 25 cents, but a story, a legacy, and perhaps even a fortune waiting to be discovered.